Bruce Wayne may appear to be a wealthy playboy, but beneath this facade, his true identity is that of the Batman, waging an endless war against crime. Join the Caped Crusader in Batman The Audio Adventures, the first scripted audio original featuring Batman and his villainous rogues gallery in a world premiere story of life and death in Gotham City, debuting exclusively on HBO Max. This rollicking adventure, told across 10 episodes, is written and directed by Emmy winner Dennis McNicholas, includes devilishly delightful original music by Doug Bossy, and performances by Rosario Dawson, John Leguizamo, Chris Parnell, Melissa Villaseñor, Seth Meyers, Jason Sudeikis, Brooke Shields, Fred Armisen, and many, many more. Go to hbomax.com/Batman Audio Adventures for more and stream Batman, The Audio Adventures only on HBO Max. Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we are at the end of another thing. What? What's so funny?
The end of another thing.
We've had so many things
this
year, so many movies and TV shows and pieces of news that it's crazy. We've come to the end of another series.
Another thing.
This is the final episode of Hawkeye that we're talking about.
Boy, oh boy.
And it's kind of the end of the year
Boy,
as well,
boy,
right?
oh boy, was it. My gosh. Yeah.
I mean, there's too many movies to talk about, but this is episode 6, so this is Christmas, the finale of the Hawkeye Disney Plus series.
Yes.
So many questions, answers, so many fun moments, I think, in this, and this is a classic FFF.
FFF?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure out what that means. Final.
Nope.
Finale.
Close. Fun-filled finale.
Oh, I see.
Really an action-packed finale, I think.
Okay, so
you know what? No.
APF.
FFF, fight-filled finale.
Okay.
And that's kind of par for the course for Marvel. A lot of the final episodes of their Disney Plus series have just been like really massive
fight scenes. Yeah, and then you know what? Also just like the movies, because if you think about the past films that we've seen, it's just always a major battle before.
You gotta get in some CGI.
You gotta get in there.
My name's Manuel.
My name's Sophia.
And we're
Hawkeye fans.
Good. Finally, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I think that there's a moment in this, and just so you know, this is filled with spoilers, so we're assuming you've seen it.
Oh, yes.
But why wasn't there a hawk in the Rockefeller Center tree? The Rockefeller tree that instead of an owl, because there's an owl in there.
Are hawks more likely in New York City?
They're hawks. Yeah, they're falcons.
Than owls?
I think so.
Wasn't there another movie a long time ago? Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? Stuart Little 2?
Yeah, there's a falcon in that.
There's
for
a falcon
sure.
in that.
I mean, come on.
Then that's in New York, so hello.
Yeah,
wait, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there should definitely be a hawk, and that they kind of missed out here.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
They could have zoomed in on the hawk's eye. And Clint winks at it.
It was at night, though, huh? So I guess the owl would have been there.
I guess so.
Are hawks nocturnal, too?
They do whatever they want.
Oh.
Hawks do whatever they want.
We digress.
And, yeah, we've obviously... So earlier this week, and really maybe 2 times last week, you heard us talk about Spider-Man. Obviously, that movie's really, really big, and we've talked about No Way Home a couple times already. This is the finale of this episode, and next week we'll be talking about some of our favorite moments of the entire year.
Ooh.
So a whole lot of Marvel stuff to cap out 2021.
Year-end wrap-up.
Year-end wrap-up, a classic YEWU. Year-end wrap-up.
I see.
But before that we're gonna wrap up. So this is Christmas, the final episode of Hawkeye. Sophia, so much happens in this.
This is Christmas.
So many amazing fights, so many great, I think, Christmas moments.
What a Christmas movie,
or
what a
real
Christmas
holiday series. Yeah. And we've got some big characters in this.
Yeah.
In terms of their stature, their size, and then also how big they are for the MCU. But what'd you think about this episode?
I mean, it's exactly what we got. What we wanted for Christmas. Am I right? I mean, this is filled with all kinds of fight scenes.
Fish?
Yeah, and we just definitely saw more of the big guy, and we'll talk about the big guy here in a second, I'm sure. We definitely wanted someone to go somewhere for the holiday, and we got that too. And it's all kinds of everything we asked for, and I couldn't be happier. It was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of really final
Oh
moments.
my gosh, again with this? Oh, okay.
What was I going to say?
I thought you were going to do the abbreviation.
Oh,
for...
another FFF. A lot of final and FMF, final moment finale.
Yes.
I think we've got some really great moments with Kate Bishop and her mom, Eleanor, who we kind of figured was up to no good.
Yes,
right?
100%.
From the very first episode.
Yeah, very
it's
first.
Vera Farmiga, and you're like, what's going on here? And
What's
we find
going
out
on?
she's just been framing her fiance.
FF.
Framing fiance, FF. And there is a lot going on with the Bishop security system. We find out that the dad, and this is kind of, I think, one of those kind of reveals in this episode, is the fact that she is only working with the Kingpin, who is totally in this episode a lot,
the big guy,
because of an unfulfilled debt by her husband, Kate's father, who I'm sure they kind of idolized for a while, and I think that she realizes, wow, he was actually not
great.
Yeah. So I'm a little sympathetic towards Eleanor, Kate's mom, a little bit, because it seems like she didn't want to be a part of this, but there was just too much, I guess, red in the
debt.
ledger. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, and she gets arrested at the end of this, and we're cutting to the end with her, but Bishop security, I don't know what happens with that, if Kate gets any of that money or is now in charge or what, but it's kind of throwing a big wrench in at least that family. Kind of all split up by the end of this.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And then also, I mean, we knew that was coming. Like, we were all excited about it from day one, but I definitely did want to see that kind of moment of Kate realizing, like, oh, shoot, I gotta pick Hawkeye over my own mom.
Yeah.
Busted.
But she was there for him in the last episode, and she saved his life.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of his turn to stick by her.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a big turn. Yeah.
He does in the end.
That's
cute.
A little different, right? For him at least. But that is just one of these family dynamics that kind of erupts here, because we also get Yelena fighting and talking to Clint,
and
Hawkeye.
And that's another thing that we were asking for. Remember, we were like, if she could just sit down with Hawkeye for just a second and listen to him.
It's a little convenient the way it happens.
Yes.
And it's a little, because we were thinking like, well, it's impossible. It's literally his word
against
hers, and does she even trust him? And she does ultimately, and it's after only she's basically kicking his butt.
And then he whistles.
Whistles.
Give it a little whistle. Can you whistle? You can't whistle?
I can't whistle well. Can you whistle what Natasha whistles? I don't even know.
Oh.
It's like just two notes.
It's like, it's really high though.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Something like that.
Is it like that, or is it the other way?
I don't know. Oh, she's here.
Yeah.
But that's kind of one of those moments, and he talks her down, and she doesn't kill him. She just leaves. But, I thought that moment was maybe one of the heaviest of the whole series, considering there's other big things that happen in this. But I don't know. What'd you think about that Yelena and Clint?
It definitely got me in my feels, because I started thinking about Natasha. And it's like, R.I.P. baby girl.
And they're fighting like in an ice rink.
Yes.
It's a big.
And I will say that she kicks his ass. Like, she hands it to him on a silver platter.
But a little later on, it seems like Clint's kind of just stopped fighting too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he let her just ground and pound that ass, and it's like, my gosh, I felt the pain for him.
There's a lot of emotion, and you get that cool. Florence Pugh acting,
face, her little cry face. Oh, she has the best frown I've ever seen it on an actor ever. Like, it just so perfectly, I love it.
She's incredibly capable, and I think that's kind of one of the she's got that dry sense of humor, because earlier, before she gets to that Clint thing, which is really big, she does fight Kate again.
Yeah.
In a really fun fighting through an office building sequence.
This whole film, I keep saying film because
Yeah,
my gosh,
episode,
but
I
this
guess.
whole episode is just filled with all kinds of fight scenes. With the one with Yelena and Kate, and then also Yelena and fucking oh my gosh, Hawkeye. Like it,
And then you got Jack Duquesne, the swordsman,
man,
murdering people.
with his sword, just straight
Uh,
murdering people.
I think that was
and
really.
then Kingpin. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even gotten to
Guy,
his
about
big
the big
fight
guy.
yet. But there's, Jack. There, this is the holiday party for Bishop Security,
Yes.
and it's a classic. We gotta get there and protect
oh my
your
gosh,
mom.
I forgot
and
about
everyone's
Echo too.
Yeah, and so this is kind of the meeting point, Rockefeller Center, where everyone's
It's
coming.
It's where the magic happens.
Where the magic is happening. It's where the tracksuit mafia is on the way to. It's kind of the place to be tonight.
Yeah, everybody and their mom is there.
And the
literally.
LARPers are waiters.
Also there,
yeah,
in
now,
disguise.
which is kind of I don't know. But there's some really fun moments in the party. But once things get crazy,
they get crazy.
They get crazy, and I mean, I brought up Jack earlier, but he is kind of the only one really murdering a ton of people.
Yeah, it's crazy convenience too. I mean, just that everybody. I really don't understand the LARPing. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
It's a intentional storyline that is interesting.
Yes.
It's an interesting choice.
Yes.
I get.
Is LARPing big in New York? Maybe.
I don't know.
New York audience.
Live action role play.
Let us know, please.
There's a lot of interesting things here because you've got a couple characters who use bow and arrow and swords.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for LARPing.
Right.
And there's kind of a meta thing, but I don't know if it pays off at the end where nobody is listening to them until they put on silly costumes.
Right.
Which I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting because that's basically what superheroes do. No one listens to anyone normal, but they listen to superheroes. But yeah, the LARPing is there.
Yeah.
It's definitely and it's not just a one episode thing like we thought. It is a huge
it's
part of
the
entire series.
Yeah, the entire series. And I thought whenever they gave each other that look of like, well, we got to do it.
It's time to LARP.
I thought they were going to change into their actual like work uniforms.
The firefight outfit,
and
the police uniform.
Because I feel like people would feel safer with that type of person coming.
Here's what I'll say.
Actual authorities.
I don't think they're the best at being a fireman and a police officer, only because we already kind of proven that they steal from crime.
Oh, you're right. They plant evidence. They steal evidence.
They steal evidence, and they also stole Ronan's suit from Bishop's fire. So they steal, at least.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they don't care about being firefighters and policemen anyways.
Yeah.
But they end up being a part of it, and one of them asks Jack if he wants to LARP, and it's kind of a dark humor, I guess, where he says, like, I've got blood on my sword. So, yeah, I don't live action role play. I just live action kill. Like, he's stabbing people left and right. It's kind of funny to think about. But, it's fine.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about that. Well, not a little bit. Well, let's talk about that Kingpin. The big reveal of the last episode was the fact that there's a security camera that Yelena placed that showed Kingpin talking to Eleanor Bishop, Kate's mom. And I mean, he's kind of just as big a Kingpin in this series than he is in the Deadpool series and in the comic books. Pulling all the strings, really.
Yeah.
Incredibly powerful. And what would you think about finally seeing Kingpin?
Like borderline invincible, my gosh. Like
Yeah.
he again with the ass kicking, like in the fight scenes, it's amazing. It's nonstop basically with him. And he's scary as hell, which he's supposed to be anyway, very intimidating. And also like during the whole fight, somebody had to run his ass over to finally just put him out. And it wasn't even like it didn't like majorly hurt him at all because he ended up just getting up anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, my gosh, his fight scene with Kate was just fantastic. I loved it. She was pretty on point too. Like she did not even care.
All of the arrows, which
she
is
uses
great.
Yeah, she does. And then also he breaks them, which is crazy. But then she also just I'm pretty sure at that point it was just pure adrenaline because my gosh, there could be absolutely nothing else just running her. But yeah, I think he was great, and obviously he's not gone because they just showed him like get up and like walk away basically, and so I'm excited to see what else he's gonna rule next. I mean, for sure, probably Spider-Man is where I'm gonna get.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because Vincent D'Onofrio is back playing him from the Daredevil. I think I said Deadpool earlier, but from Daredevil, the
Yeah.
Netflix series, and he's back. But there is, and we haven't talked about Echo that much yet, but there is kind of a off-camera suggestion that she shoots Kingpin
Yeah.
in this, but I don't think that happens because we don't see it on camera.
Uh-huh.
And if you never see it on camera,
Didn't happen.
it didn't happen. But yeah, you're right. I think that this is all taking place in New York City.
Uh-huh.
And that's the Kingpin's domain, but we know that that's also where Spider-Man is. That's where Fantastic Four is.
Doctor Strange.
We talked about all this stuff, but Kingpin is incredibly smart and capable in the comic books. Kingpin kills Spider-Man, kills
At
Aunt
one
May,
point,
kills
yeah.
a lot of superheroes just because he is invincible and is able to have these amazing plans. So we'll have to see, but it definitely feels like he has a role in the MCU, and it's kind of historic, especially, spoiler alert, if you've seen the Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Because you know that there's
What's up.
yeah, you know that Matt Murdock is there, and that means Daredevil's also in the MCU.
Yes.
Kind of just a couple miles away from where the holiday part. Not even a couple miles. It's just a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
From where this episode happened is where Hell's Kitchen is, and we know that's where Daredevil is. So, kind of a crazy thing to introduce. But let's talk about Echo a little bit because Echo. This whole series kind of served as a backdoor pilot for her because she is getting her own show.
Yes.
But she kills someone here.
She kills her right-hand man.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I think it starts with an S. I'm sure we can look it up here in a second. That's on me. But
Kazi.
it's a K.
It's close. They sound the same.
But no, I do think that this definitely leads off with her starting her own show, and I think we actually said that while we were watching the episode. We were like, yeah, because he mentions to her like, well, if you do this, then you're never gonna you have to live your, I don't know what the hell he says. He says like, oh, you got to live this life, or oh, this was my life to live, or something crazy like that.
Kazi's jealous.
It's like, bro, relax.
He's jealous.
It's like I never had a choice,
Yeah.
You're not my dad.
Oh
But but no, yeah, I do think that this was definitely supposed to lead to her series that she is going to get, that we all know that she's going to get, which I'm super stoked about because she's pretty badass. And also because she's already left Kingpin's side, basically, and she's just kind of run her own thing. Oh, I couldn't see him being in her thing, too, because of that. Like, he's obviously going to be pissed about it.
Well, I mean, there's two ways this can go. She could actually have killed Kingpin, which I don't think is likely because we didn't see it on camera.
Right.
But if she spares his life, he may feel indebted to her and maybe
that's fair.
not feel like he has to kill her, although Kingpin is pretty bold of a character.
Yeah.
But who knows? It seems like Echo and he, which is, I think, from the comic books as well, have a really close relationship and almost familial.
Yeah, I think...
So I could totally see him spare her for...
And vice versa,
Yeah.
too, because I can totally see her shooting, like, right next to his head or something,
Yeah.
because she just has that personal connection. And I think that she would know that killing him has other consequences.
Ton of repercussions.
Yeah, I don't think that she would do it.
I'm still really interested whether there is some kind of moral conflict with her because it seems like she's... she originally just wanted to kill Ronan because Ronan killed her dad, and now she's kind of not trusting this organization that has been her whole life, and there's a lot going on there. So I wonder if she's gonna play along the side of a hero or a villain, really.
I can't see her having moral confusion, but I do see her being confused about her personal feelings towards the crime that she committed.
Her backstory.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be like moral though. Like, oh, I think she still fucks with the bad guys. I just don't think. I think within the bad guys, she's like, it's like Wreck-It Ralph. Like, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like maybe bad guy, good guy.
Yeah, and there is going to be, she is someone else who's going to be in her universe is definitely Daredevil. I feel. Because,
so then she may be...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we know now he's part of the MCU, so it'll be whether or not she is working with the Kingpin or maybe turning to do a different side. We'll have to think about it, and we'll have to Yeah, we'll have to see. But this is not the last
Mhm.
time we see Echo. But that was kind of one of the things. I get why she's in this series, especially because Ronan was such
Oh,
a
for
big part of the
sure.
show. But yeah, there definitely is something separate going on with her
Mhm.
apart from the Hawkeye-ness of this whole series. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I think it's a backdoor pilot.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, remember when we were watching Golden Girls? There was that whole episode that took place with the neighbors.
Oh,
We were like, "What's
yes,
happening?" And then
yes,
we found out
yes. That's they have their own
they
show.
have their own show. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I see it." But yeah, we'll have to see with her. Well, what are some of the other big? I mean, there's some really fun stuff with the fights. The arrows, I think, are cool. We get that Pym arrow
I
back.
cannot stop thinking about the action. I mean, it's just so much fun. I mean, just the plunge down Rockefeller Center, the zip tie line or the zip line, whatever. Like
Yeah,
everybody
Clint gets stuck
uses
in the
it.
tree.
Yeah, and then there's snipers involved. There's the sword fights. There's multiple guns. I mean, it's just boom, 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 like constant because there are so many sides to this. Like I don't even know how to describe it. There's so many bad guys and good guys that are just fighting, and then you see that some of the fight scenes come together because they're like fighting the same person and
And I
you're
want,
like, oh my
yeah, and
gosh,
there's like a million tracksuit
it's just
disposable gangsters
nonstop.
everywhere.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's like they're multiplying eventually in at the skating rink. It's like, man, it just does not stop. And you see every chick. There is this one I can't think. There's this one fight scene with Kate where she legitimately uses her arrow as like a bungee cord or like
Yeah.
as a what are those things called? The little it's like a you know what I'm talking about? Like where you put your feet on top of a thing and you have to bounce on it. Do you know what I'm talking? It's like a stick.
No.
Pogo stick.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. She like uses it as a pogo stick for just a quick second, ricochets off of it, and then kicks somebody in the face. It's like
Yeah.
holy shit! Like it's just
Yeah.
so natural. It looks so natural for her, and then it's just so badass at the same time. I
Oh
love it.
yeah. Then they use the arrows with explosions. It's honestly like leaning into the thing that makes Hawkeye unique.
Uh huh.
Hand to hand combat, a lot of heroes do a lot.
Yeah.
And in this, the fact that he's got a bow and arrow, and so does Kate Bishop,
Mhm.
that's super unique to him. So
And
I
then
like that they play into that. And even with the Yelena's fight, she's got that Black
oh
Widow
man,
shocky thing. So
yeah,
it's cool to
it's
see
so
her
much fun.
use that. But yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I talked about the pimp thing earlier, but that they shrink an entire van and then an owl takes it or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
fun.
That's kind of out
The
there, which
Pem.
is yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. And then there's some Stark tech that's being used
Yeah.
too. There's a
Oh, I
whole
love
lot.
that they incorporated that. The hands-on like making of the arrows. I
Yeah,
loved that. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and
I
it
mean,
kind
it
of
was
answers that big kind of question because in the movies, Clint just always has arrows.
always.
And we kind of break it down and learn like, oh my gosh,
You're like, who's your
he's
supplier?
got to
But then he's
prepare.
like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm just really
It's
smart
kind
at
of like with
things.
Spider-Man in the MCU. He technically has to make those web canisters and stuff, but
Himself.
we don't see those. We don't see that happening normally.
Mhm.
It's he's just always got enough, and it's
Mhm.
nanotech or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Well, I mean, what do you think about the way this episode ended, Clint? I mean, this is a holiday series, so I mean, Clint's
Yeah,
got to be home by Christmas.
and he was. He kept his promise, which I thought was so important
That thing
because it's like,
happened
no.
that where we figured Kate wouldn't have much of a family. So
Yes.
she joins in, which she does.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm not. I was hoping Yelena would join too, because she also has no family, really.
Well, I mean, she has to go hang out with the Black Widows, though.
Yeah,
You know,
she's got
like
a lot of saving to
she
do
probably
still.
has that.
Yeah.
Her hands are kind of tied up in that. You know.
But what do you think about the way it ended in that relationship with Clint and Kate? Because I think that's kind of the central story, or the two central characters to this whole thing. Because I mean, she's inspired by him
I,
as a child, and then finally they can work together.
I do think that it brought a lot of emotion to the audience for sure because it's just like, oh damn, like one because you cut to it right after her mom gets arrested, right? So you're already thinking like, damn, like she and then what? Oh, pause please. The freaking privilege of her mom being like, oh my god, so you're just gonna arrest your mother
Yeah,
on Christmas Eve.
yeah.
And just because I broke the law, like, bitch, yes, like you killed someone, and then you also broke the law. You
Probably
were
many
hanging out
times,
many,
yeah.
many times. You were your whole family does because your husband did. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you got caught. What did you expect? Like, you're not just because no, girl, bye. But no, I do think that was pretty emotional for her, just because it's like, damn, my own mom, you know. And then also, I think that her seeing what a family like Clint's is like because they cherish each other so much in their relationships, and like it's like an ideal family, you know what I'm saying? And plus, I feel like she thinks of Clint as part of her, not more than just a role model
Yeah.
and like a friend. Like you can kind of see like a father figure in that because she has his back,
And she
and I
has no
mean,
father.
and she doesn't have a dad. So it's just, and they have like their own bond. Oh, and then he calls her his partner. Oh,
Yeah.
finally, like it's just, it's so sweet.
And there's something cathartic. He gets his Ronin uniform. They burn it in the
Oh my
backyard.
gosh, it was
That
beautiful.
moment of his life is over. He kind of has let go of a lot of the baggage, at least
Yeah,
some, talking to Echo and making right with Yelena.
yeah,
So there's a lot of that. I mean, I don't know how many people he killed as Ronin. I don't know if this is like a long journey for him
right.
to get back to that, but at least this suit is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also find out that Linda Cardellini, with his wife, Laura, I think,
Yeah.
Clint's wife,
Mm-hmm.
that the watch
It was hers.
was hers. So that
And then
implies that she worked for the Avengers or for Shield
Shield? Yeah.
and didn't want her identity revealed or something. So I mean,
Which is
it was, yeah.
crazy
We were
because
thinking like, whose watch is this?
I thought it was some sort of like
Tony Stark's watch.
or like a criminal boss of some kind or
Yeah.
something, but it was just her watch.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
it's
oh,
nice.
okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I'm cool with that.
But that makes sense because throughout the series, he would call her and she would somehow get information or speak different languages.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, she's
something else.
there's something going on, yeah.
And
with
then
her.
also, he's just trying to keep his family safe too. So if people find out that she was involved somehow with the Avengers or
Yeah.
with all of that, then it's for sure over for Clinton.
Yeah, and I'm sure they met at Shield, but there was also that giant Hydra thing that happened. There's a
Mhm.
lot, and now we know there's like 12 other agencies.
Yeah.
Every show and movie
Yeah.
reveals another agency, like the
Mhm.
TVA or the Department
Something.
of Damage Control. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
yeah,
something.
there's-
It's
it's something.
they're everywhere.
Well, I mean, we'll finish now with like kind of our final thoughts of the whole series.
Oh wait,
but-
before we do that, what was your favorite part of
Of
this
this-
of this episode?
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed in the ice rink when Kate and Clint are together finally,
Mm.
and they're just using every arrow to their disposal to get rid of like 60 or 70
Yeah, the back-to-back.
the back-to-back stuff, and then
Uh-huh.
kind of the no-look arrow shots that
Ugh,
Clint does.
yeah.
It's pretty classic, and I think it's
Mhm.
really cool. And I mean, there's something kind of goofy about a person who's just using arrows because you're thinking. I mean, this was literally created to combat against a DC character who was like this too, the Green Arrow.
Yeah.
So, or like really Robin Hood. So it's kind of cool to see it updated with tech and with cool costumes and with cool, really sincere action sequences where they're outsmarting people with guns.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
arrows.
yeah.
I thought that was really cool, and honestly, it's maybe the coolest Hawkeye stuff we've seen. Although maybe not the most important, because Hawkeye also is able to use
Right.
his arrows to fix stuff in like the Avengers.
Yes.
He fights Thanos, and the
Mhm.
arrows help. So
Yeah.
they've gone through a lot. So this is kind of small stuff. I feel
Mhm,
like a lot of
mhm.
these shows, you're like, oh, this is all tiny because they fought Thanos.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, it's still really cool. But that's kind of my favorite moment. But that kind of leads into my thoughts of the whole thing. This is really enjoyable. I absolutely love in these Disney Plus series when we're able to explore more of those characters that we don't get a lot of time
In the movies.
in the movies. 'Cause
Yeah,
in
I
the movies,
agree.
it's a lot of Captain America, Iron
Right.
Man,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
Spider-Man. It's the ones that you
The
figure
OGs. Yeah.
the OGs, and so having kind of an entire series around Clint and really Kate.
Mhm.
And then later on, Yelena and Echo, like that, I think is really special and really fun. I am kind of, we've this whole year we've been talking about the next generation of Avengers, even if they're not the young Avengers, but at least the next generation of them.
Right.
And I mean, this series kind of made me feel like, okay, and then especially since Shang-Chi and Spider-Man came out, like everything's in pretty good hands. Like there's not a giant gaping empty hole.
Well, we have
now
Doctor
that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are gone,
And ScarJo.
And ScarJo. I mean, the Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld, like they can definitely
Mhm.
carry an entire movie.
And then Scarlet Witch's kids too.
And Scarlet Witch's kids, like this is all really good stuff. I mean, we'll have to
Mhm.
see if Scarlet Witch's kids get a show or something. But,
Yeah.
like I feel like there's a lot to look forward to at least.
Mhm.
And even if when it's small stakes, and I think This is so unique because it is kind of that holiday theme, which is also new for Marvel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new stuff in this. I think even more than some of the other Disney Plus series. But yeah, what'd you think about Hawkeye overall?
Over first of all, my favorite part of the series was definitely the fight with Kate and Yelena. Like their whole dynamic is
Yeah.
so great. I love it so much. Okay,
They're kind of cheeky. They're kind of friendly,
it's
but
so
still
much fun.
fighting.
And at the beginning, it's funny whenever because it starts like fresh from the elevator scene. You know what I'm talking about? Like where she's like,
Yeah.
no, don't push the button, and then boom, 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 boom. Like
Escalates, yeah.
Kate just it's so funny.
And they're not really trying to kill each other.
No, it's just trying to be like a distraction for a second because she knows that Clint's trying to get somewhere safe, and then Yelena's trying to track Clint, and it's a whole thing. And even at the end, Yelena's like, "Well, that was fun," and then she jumps out a window.
Yeah.
But no, Hawkeye as a whole, oof, man. I think that it had the emotion that, and not too heavy of emotion, but it had emotion from different parts. So it had grief, it had a lot of like friendship, a lot of trust, a lot of just self discovery, like a lot of coping, a lot of change. It like just so many different things that were being handled in this series, and I think it's so nice. And I like revenge, just
Redemption, forgiveness,
redemption, like
yeah.
all of them, and it happens so quickly because it's so action packed and there's so much going on with the story.
Honestly, a
and
lot of new characters every episode.
so many new characters. I mean, who's the only OG? Hawkeye? That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Kingpin too, but that's from a totally different
Daredevil,
series. It's just insane, and I loved it. Oh, you know what? So is what's her name? Eleanor. Eleanor is a pretty but she's like an actress, so it's I don't know if that's that man. Anyways, but I loved it. I love how it ties multiple series to this one and
That's
multiple
true.
movies to this one.
Black Widow's in here, Daredevil, and then in the future Echo, and
and it just it ties everything that we've recognized from the past with deeper emotions and connections to us, like on a personal level, and then it also leads open into what's to come here in the future with the MCU. Like it's so fun and it's really great. I enjoyed all of it. It was fantastic.
It does add a lot of context even to just the moment where they talk about Ronan for like 5 seconds in Endgame. And you're like, okay, yeah, he was Ronan, but who cares what that was?
And I do love how they used comedic timing too, and and different ways to explain what's happened in the past, like a way to wrap up what happened with Thanos, like the musical that they put inside
oh my gosh.
of this.
Well, let's talk about it because that's kind of the after credit scene. No cliffhanger.
It's not kind of the after credit scene.
It is the after credit. We get the full context, full throated Broadway musical. I can do this all day.
I love it.
It's so funny.
What is it called? Steven? No. What is it? Oh, I can't remember what the actual musical is called. But it's in Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
Oh yeah, Rogers.
Rogers,
the
Steve
musical.
Rogers. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's good, and it's kind of the classic. It's kind of super self-aware because they know that's kind of what happens in Broadway, but also, that's kind of like the Spark Notes fun version.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't put it past our society to kind of make it super trivial and funny and fun, even though it's a super serious,
thing.
Thing. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed the after credits because it's like a 6-minute long musical number.
Oh, and that was like fully committed to their choreography
choreographed.
team.
Somebody wrote
Someone
the songs.
wrote the music. They
cast actors.
Oh my gosh,
it's a good,
so funny.
Yeah, I like it. It's really fun. Who knows? We saw that in Spider-Man, so maybe we'll see more Rogers everywhere.
I really hope that those people were actually from Broadway. Do you know what I mean? Like I hope that they cast people that were actually on stage at one point because that would be like the cherry on top, TBH. Because I would love that so much.
I'm pretty sure it is because you can't do any of that without having
having that type of voice and everything, like the constant smiles when they're talking about like the world ending and like talking about Loki and just all of it. Oh my God,
and even
hilarious.
the fact that the song is called like I Can Do This All Day. Like, it's not actually
they know that that's from Steve. So funny.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode. Let us know what you thought about Hawkeye and maybe some of your favorite moments or new characters. I know that Kingpin is in it, so that's kind of a I know a lot of people are just excited to see him fighting on screen, and the fact that this may mean we'll get more Daredevil and stuff, Defenders characters in this. But we're really excited because this year, oh my gosh! Well, next week we'll be talking about this entire year.
Yeah.
and all the new stuff and our favorite moments, because we're talking about multiple movies, 3 movies this year alone, and I think 4 or 5 Disney Plus series, including like What If, an Emmy-winning series now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a lot to talk about to recap the entire year, but I can't really wait to talk about next year either. We get even more movies next year.
I know. I really can't even fathom what is gonna happen
New shows.
next.
We've got, finally some Christmas specials, and it's, coming off the heels of the second best opening of all time, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oof,
So
man, if you haven't watched that already, go watch it.
yeah, there's a lot of MCU.
Watch it more than
People love
once,
it. Yeah.
bro.
I can't even tell you what.
Can't even talk about it yet.
Talk about it yet, but it's really big, so we're really excited about that. But for now, Sophia, what do you have to plug?
Just as always, thank you, everyone, for supporting us, not just by listening to the pod, but just supporting our whole network here. All the other shows that we have, we greatly appreciate it. You have no idea. Also, if you want to support us even further, you sure can. Everything's going to be at our Patreon, so please go to patreon.com/delphinpod, DELFINPOD. And you can support us any way you want to, live your life. And I just, it goes such a long way here. So we really, really appreciate it. Also, if you want to follow me on any of my personal socials, you sure can. Everything's going to be at _simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
Yeah, listen to all the Dolphin Bot shows. They're all firing on all cylinders, and we'll be seeing you next year.
In the new year.
Actually, next.
Oh wait, no, yeah, next week. There's one more. There's one more week.
You know what? No, next week is the next episode is the new year.
No.
This is the final one for 2021. Yeah, our recap is going to come out in 2022.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, January 3rd. So I guess we'll see you in the new year.
Okay, well, Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year, everyone. Hope you have a good holiday.
Stay safe, please.
All right, bye.
Bye.